You know, the Bible talks about being, quote, more than a conqueror, especially when we face suffering. But what does that actually mean? What is it like to do more than conquer a hard situation or a set of problems? Well, Jennifer Barrick's life shows us, because God has given her the grace to live above and beyond her circumstances. And just what does that look like? Well, to live above a disability is to not let it define you, not let it control you, not let it shape the essence of who you are. And oh my goodness, do you certainly see that in Jennifer's life. You don't see the disability in Jennifer's face or her body. You don't even hear it in her voice. What you see is the peace and the tenderness and the sweetness of Jesus Christ. Jennifer does not allow her circumstances to define who she is. Jesus defines who Jennifer is. And that is just one way she's living above and beyond her circumstances. But how about another way? Jennifer's weaknesses don't debilitate her. In fact, they force her to rely more on God for extra grace. So many people allow their weaknesses and suffering to drag them down. But to be more than a conqueror is to turn those weaknesses into an asset and let them force us into the arms of Christ. The Lord has sustained Jennifer and her family, I might add, in a most remarkable, miraculous way, giving her the grace to live gladly, way above her problems. No, I'm going to take that back. God gives her grace to be more than a conqueror in her circumstances. Her life is a living testimony of, quote, these things happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God. And friend, if God can raise the spirits of Jennifer, oh my goodness, He can raise your spirits as well.
In my last visit with Jennifer Barrick, I quoted one of the journal entries that starts each chapter of Miracle for Jen, written by her mother, Linda. Here is Jen reciting the journal entry her mother found after the accident that changed all their lives.
Anything is possible with you, Lord. Wow, it's crazy how time flies and how years go by. This year, Lord, I don't want to blend in because I know that I was born to stand out. Stand alone, maybe, if that's what it takes. This life that I now live is not mine, but yours. It's yours to do with as you please. To take this year and my life and allow your glory to shine. Take it and use it to its fullest potential. Your faithful servant, Jen.
Wow, that's worth hearing again and again, a challenge to all our hearts. Very meaningful for you to find, Mom.
Yes.
Take us back to that day and what led you to go looking for Jennifer's journals.
Well, it had been a couple months since the wreck had happened, and even though Jennifer was in the hospital and she's singing praise songs to the Lord and talking to the Lord and praying to Him, I couldn't have a real conversation with her because she doesn't know she's hurt. I couldn't hug her and cry with her because she wasn't sad. And I knew that she loved a journal. I knew she had journals hidden all over her room. And I begged my father to take me back to the house. And we had these big stairway up to Jen's room. And, you know, my left foot, my left arm was all broken. And so I'll never forget, my dad took me and I got on the steps and I just scooted up on my rear end the whole way up on my one good arm and my one good leg. And when I got to the top, you know, and getting into Jen's bedroom, it was just so hard because there was who Jen was, all the pictures, all the cheerleading pictures, all the trophies, all the soccer pictures, and, you know, right on her light where she would turn the light on was the scripture she had written and pasted on the wall, "He must increase, but I must decrease." And right next to her bed in hot pink construction paper was, "Do not be anxious for anything, but by everything with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, present your requests to the Lord." And so I'm just looking around, and there was her green chair where she would do her devotions every day, and the room was just as she had left it. And because I'm still on the ground, because again, I can't walk.
You're at floor level.
I'm at floor level, and she had this antique bed that was kind of high off the ground. It was her grandparents. And I see this antique box under her bed, so I crawl over there, and as I open this box, I found that journal that Jen just recited that you saw, and I just wept. I just wept because to me, the Lord was saying to me, "Linda, with me there are no accidents." And I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I prepared Jen's heart ahead of time, and she was so surrendered to me. And again, I'm doing something big here. I knew God was going to do something huge with Jen's life. I just wanted it to happen sooner. I didn't think it would be 5 years later. I was wanting God to do that miracle the next week or the next month, but I ripped out that journal and I just kept it with me, and I carried it with me back to the hospital, and I was showing it to people. It just gave me hope that God knew this was going to happen. There was a much bigger plan here than what we could see, much bigger than just my child being in the hospital, that there was eternal purposes at stake.